what's up guys, and welcome to the ScootCrate channel. I'm Ben and I'll be your host for this very first video. If you've just stumbled across this channel and have never heard of ScootCrate before, then I highly recommend you head over to our website, ScootCrate.com, where you can check out just what we're all about. So, as you've probably guessed from my intro line, this is the first ever video that's going to be hitting the ScootCrate YouTube channel. And so what I thought I'd do, just to kick things off, is review one of the items that I've been riding myself for a really long time now. It's a pretty cool item, and the first thing that I'm going to be reviewing on this channel is the Oath Components Cage SCS. So first things first, as with most products in the Oath line, this SCS has come packaged really nicely in this really cool cardboard packaging. I think it helps it really stand out from a lot of the other competitors that are currently on the market. So as you can see, we've got the top here, you've just got that Oath logo up there. And so then wrapping around the edge of the box, again, you've got kind of details on it here. So they explain a little bits about the specs of the product here. So again, it's just got some text down the side here, tell you exactly what the clamp's made of, the size of all the parts and all the bolts. We'll get into that in a little bit anyway. If you ever wanted to know anything about this clamp, it's all written around the outside of the box. As you can see as well, the packaging, like we said earlier, is entirely consistent of cardboard, which makes it super easy to recycle, which to me is a big added bonus. Exterior and packaging kind of covered, so let's unbox, get into it, and see what the clamp's all about itself. As soon as you unbox one of these clamps, you can notice just how different it is from anything else that's currently out there. It's super ornate, really nicely designed. I believe it's fully CNC manufactured, so they've been able to get some real nice detail in there, and again, just make it really different from anything else that's currently out there. The first time I saw it, I kind of thought it looked a little bit reminiscent of something that you'd kind of find on one of the Gothic architecture style buildings, maybe from Barcelona, you know, something like that. And it just real sat well with me, and you know, I personally really like this design. Again, it's going to be one that you either kind of love it or you hate it, I think. But for me, it's a massive win, and it's great to see brands in the scootering industry really pushing themselves to kind of work out different ways of doing things and bringing out different designs really. Again, as with any product, these things come in multiple different colorways. I've got the Neochrome one right here. I don't know if you can see it to the side. I've currently got a black Oath SCS, Cage SCS set up on my scooter. That is my black Oath clamp there. Super nice. The multitude of colorways will just really help it branch out and, you know, just land on more people's setups in the end. As far as SCS clamps go, the Oath SCS, this Cage SCS right here, does appear at first glance to be a little bit on the chunky side. So as you can see, there's kind of like extruded lips here. The design at the front is very pushed out and bulky. And again, the back portion of the SCS here is quite thick, which is, you know, a lot of the time is going to make people think that it's going to be really heavy, you know, really clunky. Oath have really done their research here, and you can tell in the design, the way you feel it, it's just not really as heavy as it looks. They've done their research, they've made some cutouts here, there's a cutout right here, cutout on the other side, and all of these are just fitted in there just to reduce the weight pretty significantly and make what looks like a ridiculously heavy, bulky clamp actually quite lightweight and really manageable. It weighs in on the box at 225 grams, but I always like to do my own tests, so I have my weighing scales right here. Just make sure it actually reads 0. Yeah. Pop him on there and see what we get. Okay, so with all the components inside, that's currently reading 269 grams. So it's a little bit over what it actually says on the box. So what I'm gonna do, just gonna remove the shim in here. So again, this SCS is great because it comes with a shim that allows you to adapt the SCS to standard size bars, so you can use it with standard or oversized bars. So it's even easier to get it onto your scooter. So pop that there, pop out that top cap there as well. I'm gonna pop that on there right there. So now we're down to 235 grams right there. So that's 10 grams over what it says on the box. For the sake of what this clamp actually is and for the strength it provides, I don't really see that as being too much of a problem. I imagine that if I took all of the bolts out there that would probably take it down to the 225 grams, which may be what they've based the box weight on. Okay, so now we've covered the weight, we're going to move on to some of the features that these clamps have. We've just covered bolts, so while we're on that subject, these are all 6mm bolts, so you get 4 6mm M8 bolts. These things are super strong. In my experience, I found them really, really difficult to strip, which is one of the main problems with an SCS. It's where you have to clamp it so tight that the thread on the inside of the bolt just ends up coming away, and that can completely ruin your clamp, and it can mess up the entire experience of owning an SCS, and it makes it really difficult to get off and is just a massive pain in the ass. So the fact that these things are super strong and they don't thread particularly easily is a big bonus for this SCS. Moving on from that, what we can see here, I don't know if you can see, this is one of the coolest features of this SCS, is down there. You see that on the bottom here, right there, and on the top, up there, right on the top, are these little grooves. And so what they're for is they're there to enable you to line up your SCS with your forks, with your bars, and just keep everything really nicely in line. It can be one of the most irritating things about scooter riding. You're putting together a new build, a new setup, you get to the point where you have to line up your wheel, get it all straight, get the forks straight, get the bars straight, and you can be there doing that longer than your actual session turns out to be. And so the fact that these guys have thought about that and tried to implement something to kind of make that process easier for the riders is a real big step forward. It's great to see that kind of innovation. It's just one of those things that people don't really think about, but it is there. It's a quality of life upgrade. If you're into something like that and that really bothers you, then this could be your dream. One of the other features, so we've already covered the fact that it's got the shim, is this around here. So that is basically just a lip over the bottom of the clamp, and it's just a built-in headset cap. So it just means that you can slot that straight on your top bearing case, and that'll just sit there like that. No need for your top cap. I just find that that again adds a little bit of customization. It can allow for a much cleaner looking scooter, so you don't have the SCS being propped up by a headset cap. Having a headset cap there means that it bumps up your scooter by ½ an inch or so in height, and if you really don't want that, then this will reduce that height and means that your bars are, you know, they're going to be 1½ inches taller using this. I think that's how much space that we measured was in there. That headset cap there, nice and built in, just allows for more integration. If I just show you here on my scooter, my current build, you can see that that is exactly what I'm using there. So this just sits here, lines up real nice with the head tube, and just makes for a really nice top cap, pre-built in to the SCS. Or if you do still want to use your headset cap, if you love your headset cap, or you just want that little extra bit of height, then of course you can still use your original headset cap. Those are just a few of the features that come with this clamp. They're the major ones that you should really be looking out for. The design overall is super bulky and strong. On the inside here, I'm just going to point that in there like that, just see if you can see that there. In the center, flip it upside down. You can see there isn't just a cylinder down the middle, there are cutouts down there. The shape of that just kind of helps reinforce the strength that this thing has. Now that we've covered specs and design features, I'm going to move on, just talk a little bit about my personal experience with riding this SCS. Not this one in particular, but this one in particular. So this is the Oath SCS that I've been riding, and it has honestly just been an all-round super sturdy SCS. I feel it's really been quite a cool standout feature on my scooter as well, just really allowing for that extra little bit of customization. The first time that I used one of these SCSs, I was currently riding tie bars. I did find that there was a few day one issues, little snaggles with the compatibility between the two items. The SCS didn't take particularly kindly to the tie bars immediately. It took a couple of tightens, and then the tie bars would then kind of slide out of place, and then I'd have to tighten it back up again before they stuck and held in place. But that only really happened over the first day or two of me riding. After I tightened it up and they'd slipped out. I mean, they didn't come entirely out, they kind of just slipped from there to there maybe. I just had to loosen it, push them back in, and then probably after the third time of doing that, they stuck. That was that. so they just kind of held in place perfectly after that, and it was ideal. With these steel bars, so I've got some steel bars in at the moment, they're oversized, so both bars that I've tested this with have been oversized, but these steel bars immediately went in, they have not slipped, and I do not see them slipping in the near future. So just bear that in mind if you're going to use this SCS with pre-used tie bars. I'm pretty sure they only happened because I had already had my tie bars in an SCS, a different SCS, and that had compressed them together a little bit, so it kind of crushed the bottom of my bars a little bit, which made it much harder for the SCS to actually grab onto it. But once it had kind of molded to the bars, it was fine, and we were all good from there. As a rider myself, I often find myself riding different types of terrain, street, park, you know, concrete parks, wooden parks, whatever really. I'm pretty all-round riding wise, and I have found that the SCS has taken stress in its stride really. So hopping down gaps, bri flips, you know, kicklesses, that kind of trick. I do a lot of X-rides and scooter fakies, technical things like that, and it's really held up wherever it's been. So whether that's been throwing myself down some stairs, doing some big box jumps, some big quarter pipes, you know, things like that, rails, it's just held together real nice. I do think this is an SCS that you can have, and once it's on, you've fitted it, it's not doing any of the day one pullouts. I just think it's a really solid SCS that you are not going to have to worry about whatsoever, no matter what it is you're doing. It will keep your bars on and it will stay attached to your forks. It's a great solid choice in SCS. The reason why I first picked one of these things up was just because of how different the design actually looked. I found it super standout, and you know, I'm always looking for something to make my scooter stand out a little bit more from everybody else's. And you know, this thing really did the trick where that was concerned. If it does eventually snap or break, then you know, I've had it for 10 months, I will be straight back onto another one, and hopefully that will get another 10 months plus out of that one as well. If you are in the market for a new SCS and you want something that will let your scooter stand out a little bit, be a little bit different, all while giving you that strength, the confidence that it is going to stay on your scooter, your bars aren't going to fly out, then this thing is a really, really solid choice. In conclusion, the Oath Components SCS is a strikingly different looking clamp that really does look and feel very different from anything else out there on the market. The ornate design makes it super standout. The cutouts help lower the weight a little bit and make this thing a very competitive SCS. Again, they come in multiple different colorways, so there's bound to be something that can suit your scooter. The addition of the shim means you can use standard size or oversized bars. It's completely up to you. Added compatibility. This part here as well, so we've just got to finish. We've got the top cap here that just sits down there. This uses a 5mm bolt as opposed to the 6mm M8s, but I don't think that's a particular issue here, especially as the majority of other forks on the market come with the 5mm thread. I think that Oath have probably just used this here for compatibility reasons, as it means that you buy this SCS, it pretty much means, you know, 9 times out of 10 you're going to be able to put this straight on your scooter and it's going to be compatible with your forks. So yeah, Oath really looking at compatibility, pushing innovation, and making a really, really standout, cool SCS that should definitely be at the top of your list if you are looking at getting a new SCS. Okay, so that rounds out my little review of the Oath Components Cage SCS. Thank you very much for coming and watching this video. If you've never heard of ScootCrate before, especially if you like this video, head over to ScootCrate.com, just see exactly what we're all about. If you like this video, please make sure to like and subscribe. We should be having plenty more reviews just like this one coming at your way. This was not a paid promotion. This was no way endorsed by Oath Components or any of their affiliates. This was totally off the back of myself. I literally picked this clamp up 10 months or so ago, rode it, thought it was awesome, and I've got to the point now where I can make this review having ridden it in and, you know, being somewhat more knowledgeable about how this thing actually functions. So there you go. That's been me, Ben, and hopefully I'll see you again very soon. Bye.